This man single-handedly brought in 100% of the Cass County vote. All right. Hello, friends. It's so good to see you tonight. My name is Jolie Justice. I am the chair of the Airport Committee, and I am so glad that we have made it to this point. You know, a little over 2 years ago, this guy asked me to come down to his office at City Hall. And I had not been sworn in yet. He said, "Hey, kid, what do you want to work on?" And I told him all the things that were important to me about Kansas City and why I ran for office. And I said, "Mr. Mayor, the one thing I don't want to have anything to do with is the Kansas City Airport." And he rewarded me by making me the chair of the Airport Committee. And it has been a long 2 years. But because of the work that everybody in this room has done here tonight, because of the leadership of the men on this stage, we have become a city that is moving forward, and we have tonight secured the fact that we are going to move into the next generation and make sure that this city is a world-class city with a world-class airport. I want to thank everybody for the work that they've done, but right now, I want to turn it over to our friend, the man who 2 years ago had to, or actually it was just a year ago, stood in front of us and said, "You know what? Kansas City's not ready for this." And tonight, we proved everybody wrong, and Kansas City is ready for this. So please welcome Mayor Sly James.
Well, all I can tell you is it's really good when you can go big or go home, isn't it? Notice we're not going home. So, you know, let's first of all take a moment to thank everybody in this room. Everybody in this room contributed to this campaign. Men, women, black, white, young, old, rich, poor. This was a city effort. This entire city, and I think the vote really does show it, this entire city recognized that in order for us to move forward, this is something that we needed to do. It once again reaffirms that we're headed in the right direction. So I want to thank you all as a group first. There's so many people in here we couldn't possibly start with names, but thank you as a group. We'll get to some other specifics a little bit later. But to put tonight's results in a little bit of perspective, let me just take a moment to remind you of how we got here. We've actually been working on this project for more than 5 years. 5 long years. Put it another way, Donald Trump was still hosting The Apprentice when we started talking about building a better KCI.
And he was going to pay for it.
Yeah, and it was going to be bigly. And as you may recall, at one point, we did have to put the process on hold. It was clear that our polling and our information was telling us that we needed to do some work in order to get here. And this is such a huge issue that we could not take a risk on just going out and winging it. It has been a work of long labor and a lot of love, because the people who've worked on this truly love Kansas City and recognize the need for us to move forward. So thank you for that. I was reminded today that the first poll that we took on this showed 29% in favor of a new terminal. We've come a long, long way. That was a pretty steep hill to get this ballot measure passed. But here we are tonight, and the voters of Kansas City have sent us a very clear message, again, that they're excited about the direction the city is headed in, and they want us to keep that momentum going. One of the things that I can tell you is that we started this project a long time ago, so how do we get to where we are tonight? I don't really think that the answer is all that complicated. It's not really terribly original, but when we get it right, there's really nothing that we can't do as a city. If we've learned anything during the last 6 years, it is that when we get our hearts together, we get our heads together, and we get our minds together, we can accomplish whatever the hell we want to accomplish. The business community stepped up. The civic community stepped up. The neighborhood groups stepped up. Elected officials, the council stepped up. And they all stepped up to the idea of building a better KCI. It's really just that simple. Every part of Kansas City community working together is what accomplished this goal tonight. It's a shared goal and one that everybody in this room, everybody in this city should be proud of. Whether you were a hater at the beginning or a hater tonight, shake it off. Shake it off, okay? When we asked and challenged the business community, they stepped up. The civic community took the lead to get this effort more than a year ago, take it on, and to move it to where we are tonight has been a remarkable success. The Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, the Civic Council, KCADC, Visit KC, the Northland Chamber, Platte County Chamber, all sorts of individuals involved in those organizations worked their tails off to get here tonight. And for that, they deserve nothing more than a huge round of applause and our grateful gratitude. These folks went out and they met with over 200 businesses. They met with all the employees in that businesses, and they talked about the need to build a better KCI and what that would do to the city. Labor and business groups like the AFL-CIO, the Building and Trades, carpenters, the laborers, friends at the heavies, all made significant investments in the campaign, in time and in energy, and in making sure that people got out to vote. Cerner, Hallmark, Burns & Mack, invested significant time and money in the effort. Cerner went the extra step and put together an entire voting package. They went out and told people how to get registered to vote, and told them that it was important for them to go vote, even if they were a no. It's important to vote. And I hope that at the end of the night we'll see a great turnout, big turnout numbers above where we normally are. And it doesn't take a lot, but it'd be better than to be where we were in some other times. We're really pleased to work with our friends from Edgemoor and its development team to build an airport for the next 45 years. They've proven to be great corporate citizens, and the willingness to work with the city to get the job done and to build an airport that says Kansas City as soon as you walk off the plane is something they're committed to doing. When it came time to come together to get the ballot measure passed, thank you, and to affirm the selection of the development team, City Council representatives delivered. Jolie, Councilman Reed worked their tails off on the selection process, took some flack for it, but they got the job done. To every neighborhood group, every group of people who invited us to come and speak, they invited their friends, their neighbors, their supporters, even some opponents to come out and speak. We took the time and they took the time to meet with us so that we could explain what was at stake. And the interesting thing is that people who came in no often left yes. We participated in well over 100 community meetings. And it only served to reaffirm to us that when it comes time for making tough decisions in this city, the people of this city get it when they get the facts. Now, we got here through a circuitous route.
It's not bad.
But you know, the scenery was nice on the way. We got to the vacation house and now we're kicking back. All right. But so often with elections, the election is just the start of the longer process. Now that we've got the people's yes, we've got to get an airport built. And we're going to get that done. So when we get back together, I'm going to ask our council to do what it's done. Come together. The decision's been made. People of this city have spoken. It's time for us to put all politics aside and everything else aside, get an MOU that's out there, get everybody on the same page, and do exactly what we said we were going to do. Build an airport that's going to help propel this city to the level that it should be. That's going to be something when people walk off of an airplane, they're going to say, wow, this is Kansas City. And we're going to keep rolling and moving forward until we get to where we want to go. This is a great city. It's always been a great city. It has been one of the greatest honors of my lives, other than my marriage and my kids, to be able to be the mayor of this city, something I will never forget and something I will never take for granted. But the reason I won't take it for granted is because every single day I meet the constituents of this city and I get to see and talk to them. And I talk to them about what we're trying to do to make sure that their kids come back here after school. Their grandkids want to stay and live here and raise families here. That businesses want to settle here. And the people of this city get it. They've gotten it. This isn't the first time they've acted. Not too long ago, we had the largest GO bond issuance in the history of this city. Now we got the largest single project in the history of this city. Couple more people that I want to thank that are absolutely critical, and it wouldn't have gotten done without it. I don't know if you know it or not, but we happen to have one of the best city managers in the entire country in Troy Schulte. He's a good friend, but he's a greater city manager, and he spends every waking moment trying to find ways to get things done in this city. Yes. I also want to thank my staff, particularly my chief of staff, Joni Wickham. Joni does all the things that I don't. I'm honored that she has selected me to be her mayor. Thank you all. Enjoy the night. Celebrate, but it's just like the Chiefs. Tomorrow we put it behind us and we roll up our sleeves and we get to work. Thank you all very much.